Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Who wants to see FlaSh play Zerg? Who wants to see him play against Protoss? Well, I hope you raised your hands twice there. You can put your hands down now. That's exactly what we have going on. FlaSh, the greatest gamer of all time, going for Zerg here in this match on Polypoid. And you'll be playing against some very highly ranked Protoss, but I'm not sure exactly who this is. There is a possibility that's a pro gamer, but I think it's just a very highly ranked amateur. But I can't say for sure. I wasn't able to figure out exactly who this was. So anyways, hope that you guys have been enjoying all the casts here on this channel. Thank you so much for leaving comments and liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It is really, really appreciated. And yeah, looking forward to casting for many, many years here. So thanks, guys. Now, FlaSh Zerg, right? Okay, so let's just get this out of the way. Zerg is FlaSh's weakest race. That's pretty clear. That's pretty obvious, right? We've never seen FlaSh make a Zerg account and go to the top of the ladder. We've seen that obviously with Terran, and we've seen that with Protoss as well. Now, that's not to say that his Zerg is bad. His Zerg is obviously very, very good. He won multiple games with it in ASL. You know, he's put out some very good matches with it. And this is the easy matchup for Zerg, right? If Zerg were to have an easy matchup, it would be Zerg versus Protoss. Well, you know, it's not entirely fair, but definitely, you know, you can bust up a Protoss player if they screw up. You know, it's not overly hard to do something like a 3-hatch Hydra bust. Now, is that how FlaSh is going to end up playing here? Will he go for a big macro game? It's honestly very hard to say. I have seen so few of his Zerg versus Protoss games. I think I've seen every other matchup from him more often than this one. So that's kind of why this piqued my interest, and I really wanted to check this out. So he does scout this. It is a gateway expansion, so Zealot pressure should be coming. Hatchery first here. For FlaSh, and of course our Protoss player has scouted that very, very quickly. So he is going to know that he can just rally down his Zealots and apply that pressure. And, you know, we're going to have to see exactly how well FlaSh deals with this. Is he going to be able to deal with these Zealots with the absolute minimum amount of drones? I think that's a big question here. Now, you can see this probe came back, and FlaSh had to run that. He didn't want moving shot to kill his drone, so he pulls that away for now. And you know, Lings are on the way. 4 Lings going to be coming out. And that is enough for this. Looks like the Overlord watching for more units coming out. So is this one? There is a second Zealot, but it did not get sent. That's kind of interesting. Might just be waiting there. Now, ooh, a very good drone drill right on top of this. The 4 Lings going to pop out here. And he pulls the 2 very red drones so well. Oh, perfect targeting. He must have clicked that. He must have clicked the attack button on the drone before it went back to the patch, because there's just no way with the stack there that you would have been able to target that. So very quick, very good clicking there from the Protoss player. But he will end up losing, you know, both of his probe and the Zealot. Not too much damage. It only got 1 drone. He was looking for more than that, but you know, at least he does get that singular drone. Now, 3rd base is on the way here for FlaSh. Back at the Protoss's home base is getting an additional pylon. There's the Forge. There's the Nexus. Looks like gas is on the way as well. So this Protoss player getting ready to move forward in this game a little bit. Going to be seeing a photon cannon go down for those defensive purposes. Taking a look at what FlaSh has. Couple Lings in the main. I think this is just to block the ramp in case something comes to try to scout like a probe. He's got 4 Lings off on the side. And of course the Overlord watching for anything that might come out. And that means that FlaSh gets to drone nonstop until these Zealots leave. Honestly, I think what will happen is this will finish, and he'll walk out with these a little bit. Now, there is a probe trying to come in and get a scout off. And that's, you know, FlaSh is trying to zone this out, does not want this to be able to scout him. He wants it to be a question, like, is there a Hydra incoming, for instance? Oh, wow. A lot of Lings being made, but yeah, that's in response to these Zealots walking out. Of course, this Overlord did spot that. So a bunch of Zealots coming down, but plenty of Lings. Looks like 12 Lings being built right now. Plus, he already had 6 out. So 18 Lings should be more than enough to deal with 4 Zealots and a probe. But if they get into a good position, that can be a little bit tricky. These Lings blocking the ramp for now. Is he going to wait for him to come all the way up the ramp? The Ling's coming for a little counterattack. He does hold a couple down at the actual ramp there. You can see that Flash having a hard time getting up the ramp, but the two that went into the third base location do get dealt with a little bit more easily. And that one did take a nice position next to the geyser, but going to get cleaned up here as well. Seems like very good defense here from Flash. I feel like he really made close to the minimum amount of Lings. It feels like maybe he could have gone like a couple less, but you got to remember, it's like, okay, well, technically, maybe if he makes a couple less, he kills these, but you want to be slightly overwhelming so more of your units survive through it as well, right? There's all sorts of math involved with that. Now, taking a look at the Protoss base, Citadel coming up pretty quickly, as well as that Stargate. +1 is on the way. Re-hold positioning the Zealots with a probe here as well, just to make sure that he's not going to be busted or have Lings run in, rather. Looking back over here, it looks like Flash getting ready to add some macro hatcheries. Has one there. Spire being hidden here. Well, not exactly hidden, right? When the Corsair comes out, it will be able to find that, but kind of like a funny location. Won't very likely be the first spot that you check. Hydralisk Den coming up as well. And honestly, I'm not sure what we're going to see here from Flash. Like, is he going to want to err towards those Mutalisks, or will he just go for like the 4 Scourge into Hydralisk play? I'm actually always really interested in his decision-making when he plays the other races. Because Flash, like, you know, he's good at everything, but like the pro gamers mostly just agree that he's just smarter at the game than everyone else. And in fact, I've heard from multiple sources that like some of the more interesting, stronger builds that have come up for Protoss specifically were Flash's builds. I don't know about Zerg. I haven't heard anything like that. But yeah, I guess we'll see what he ends up going for here, what he thinks is strong. Okay, so there is Hydralisk speed on the way. Getting Overlord speed as well. A little bit of Scourge is being made right now, like just a couple Scourge. A lot of Hydras coming, missile attacks coming along as well. So it does look like he wants to go directly into Hydralisk production. He did deal some decent damage to the Corsair. The second one flew in there, finished off that Overlord. And yeah, it seems like Flash just getting into like kind of a normal macro game here for Zerg. Nothing really cheesy or anything, right? The one thing I'm noticing here, guys, that I don't normally see pro Zergs do, the fast Overlord speed normally doesn't pair with the Spire. Normally, if you see the Spire, you will not also see the Overlord speed this quick. Like, you'll see it, but you won't normally see it that quickly. So just kind of an interesting thing I want to point out. Now, a lot of Zealots actually hitting up here. I was too busy thinking about like what we're seeing that's a little bit different, but a nice drone drill here is screwing them up quite a bit. Kind of taking a look at that drone number and seeing if it's going to fall dramatically. It looks like a drone dies right there. Not too many drone losses. Well, no, there's 3 now. Okay, so he lost at least 3 drones there. I think it's just about 3. The Hydras will clean up most of the Zealots, and then the Zealots will start to run away. It does feel like this is a tough game for Flash, honestly. Right? Like I mentioned, Zerg is probably his weakest out of the 3 races. And, well, not probably. It is his weakest out of the 3 races. But is he going to be able to play against this unknown Protoss player? Like, is he going to be able to take this guy down? You know, you come into here and you think, well, it's a Flash game. Artosis must have chosen a Flash game that he wins. I have no idea the result of any of the games that I cast. So just so you know, I don't know. He might get wrecked here. It is a possibility. Now, Psystorm is going to be ready pretty quickly here. It's almost done researching. He doesn't have enough energy quite yet. He has enough on this one only. Comes up with these Hydras and starting to put some damage out. Oh! A storm, but he does dodge out of there. Look at that. Stops right on the very edge of the storm as well. And it looks like he's just trying to kill off the front pieces of the wall. But now Zealot's going to start coming out. This is a small amount of Hydras. By the way, a DT back here trying to get something done. Not going to miss that. Right now, look at what Flash is going for. He's actually adding in 5 Mutalisks here and re-droning a little bit. You know, he did lose some drones to that early Zealot pressure, but it looks like he wants to get some mutas to knock out some of these High Templars, which does make a bit of sense. Now, that being said, if you look back here, Dragoon range is on the way. So we're going to actually start getting a lot of Dragoons. And it's unclear if those Mutalisks are going to actually be effective, right? If it's just like Zealot High Templar that runs out, then the Mutas are always going to really, really pay for themselves. But once you have the Dragoons in there, they're putting damage on the Mutas. You know, if the Mutas stack up and really try to force the issue, you can storm them as well. Whereas that's just not the case when there are no Dragoons in. So honestly, looking at this game, if I don't take into consideration who the players are, I feel like, I think we're actually seeing Protoss play a bit better. Now, the Mutas fly into the natural here, and they are killing some probes. You know, 5 Mutas is the magic number where you one-shot probes, and he's actually getting a fair amount of damage done. In the meantime, the Hydras are battling over here a little bit. A Corsair comes up, one of the only remaining Corsairs, to help try to fend off these Mutas. But the Muta's actually going to fly over everything and go after more probes. Really? Not what I was expecting. Honestly, I thought he would just go after the High Templars. But, yeah, it looks like here he's just decided, you know what? I don't think he's going to have enough defense. We're going to go ahead, kill off a lot of these workers. And, in fact, he is doing so. His worker count, oh, God. The Storm actually kills a few probes there as well. His worker count, look at that, still 5. A terrible Storm, honestly, from the Protoss. But the worker count is getting lower and lower. Look at this, 38 against 37. Those Mutas still doing work back here. Just insane. Stopping so much mining as well. Lost mining time is big. And as our Protoss player runs in, like, he's got an okay army. He's got some Psy Storms in here, but there's no way this army is going to kill Flash right now. Right? No way. Like, there are enough Hydras. Now, more Zealots coming in. Obviously, the Zealots can deal a lot of damage, but right now we have 6 Hatch Hydra being pumped. So let's see if he can have enough to actually hold this. Maybe I was actually mistaken here. Looks like everything over here got cleaned up. Actually, the Protoss is starting to overrun Flash. What a weird game this was. Honestly, I didn't think he was going to end up falling to that. I do want to give a final thought in this game because the game kind of threw me for a loop, right? It felt like Flash was doing a couple of conflicting strategies. Now, obviously, Flash knows more about every matchup than me, right? And, you know, maybe he was testing something he had an idea for. Maybe he just screwed up a little bit against that Zealot attack and felt like he was kind of all in and had to take a risk. I'm not entirely sure. I think the Protoss played really magnificently. The one move that I found really interesting was those Mutalisks. And the Mutalisks going after the probe lines. Now, imagine if Flash actually does hold this. Like, imagine if we didn't have that last couple rounds of Zealots, right? Because there was like 5 Zealots came down, 5 Zealots came down. The army was very small previously to that. You know, if he holds this attack and he's got that probe count down to the same as the 3 base Zerg, yeah, I think you're going to be able to take that. So kind of interesting how he tried to come back in this game. Anyways, I've done enough talking. I hope that you guys enjoy this game. Thank you for watching.